Just wondering about the team news. Benjamin Sesko, is he available? About Matthias de Ligt and Harry Maguire?
Maguire is out. De Ligt is out. Ben, we have to see. We have to see if he's available. He had some poisoning. You say poisoning, so. But we'll see. Let's wait. We have 2 trainings still, but the other 2 are out. Benjamin, will assess.
Are there any other players absent? And also, we're thinking of like the Africa Cup of Nations. Are those 3?
No, we are still in conversation with the national teams. The game is just Monday. They are here. They are training, and we are trying to prepare all the scenarios to prepare the game.
Is that frustrating, not knowing if you're going to be without 3 senior players for this game?
Yeah, it's frustrating, but at the same time, nobody knows who is going to play. So it's a good thing, I think. So we have players to cope with everything, and that is something with a long week. You can see a lot of things and work on several stuff to prepare the game in any situation.
Can I ask you about Mason Mount? When you arrived, you said he was one of the players you were really looking forward to work with. And obviously now he's back from injury, and the stats suggest that when he's in the team, you win far more games than you do when he's out of the team. How important has he been to what you're trying to build?
I think it's hard to make that connection. Is a fact, but it's not just that. We have to look at the way the game was. But he's a very, very smart player. He's really technical, because sometimes to be a technical player is not just having fun with the ball, is the quality of the pass, the reception, how to receive the ball. In these things, he's really smart. He can balance our team quite well. So he's a very good player.
Ruben, just in terms of the Africa Cup of Nations players, when do you expect to get told? And will it be all at the same time? Because Lou starts earlier than Brian and...
I don't know if he's going to be the same situation, like you said. It depends of the games, of the every national team has his ideas, their ideas about when they want the players. I expect today to have a decision, or maybe tomorrow. But we are waiting until the last moment to have all the players available to choose the best team to start the game.
And just with De Ligt in particular, you were hopeful that he would be available for Wolves, and now he's not. What is the nature of the problem, and how long is that?
I think he has something in his back. I don't know for sure. And sometimes you see it's not a big injury, because he finished the game quite well against Crystal Palace, but he has some pain. So you sometimes think he's going to solve during this week, but sometimes he feels a little bit pain, and we have to be careful with that.
Ruben, you've always talked about the next game being the next challenge. How big a challenge is Bournemouth?
I think he's a top team, top manager, with a special player. So I think he's. I don't look at I don't look to the results. I look the way they face every opponent. They press really strong. They are really direct in the game. They can play with this, different options in front, and that give us a lot of options to work to prepare the game. So I expect, again, one Premier League game that is really tough. But we need to win, especially at home, and that is the goal.
Recent results haven't gone Andoni Iraola's way, but what have you made of what he's done at that football club?
Special. I think the way they play the game, like a big team, what he's doing for some players, that I think he's improving some players, and you can look at that team and it looks for several players that can play in the high level, and that is an amazing job by the manager.
I think it's a similar picture than we had past week. Marcos was the one that finished the game with some cramps, and still is dealing with some issues there, but there is no like a proper muscle injury. So we hope he's available also for Monday, but we are not still sure. It's strange because we still have 3 more days, so it's difficult to know what's going to happen, but should be very similar from past weekend, yes.
What's the situation with Velko?
Velko was injured. Velko has a proper injury. The game against Everton is behind the knee. Some small ligaments you have behind the knee and the capsula a little bit affected, and he will be out. They told me around 2-3 months. That's what I can say. Yes.
That's a big blow, isn't it?
Yeah, no, big blow, especially for him. It's a player that even being 18, he was contributing a lot. He had started some games also for us and performing well, and is a big blow also with Ben Doak. These two situations of new young players, new signings, and they are gonna be out for some time. Is a blow for us, yes.
And how about AFCON? Is Amin Adli available Monday?
No, yes, available. No, he didn't make the squad of Morocco, so no, we are not losing anyone because of the AFCON. No.
As far as Marcos goes, he was tremendous when he was on the pitch against Chelsea. I know he missed a big chunk last season, but in your time here, has he played better?
I think Marcos has been very good. He was performing well even before I arrived to the club. I remember some games that I watched from the previous season where he performed really well, and with us, you know what to expect when you put Marcos in the starting lineup. No, on the ball, off the ball, he understands very well also the way we want to play, and for us, it's very valuable. I don't think it's a big secret. No.
He's a tremendous defender, but how important is he at sort of setting the tempo, playing those accurate balls up the pitch, starting attacks?
I think he's very confident on the ball, and also he makes the ones next to him more confident. You know, this is something that when you feel confident, the one next to you looks a little bit better, and the other one looks a little bit better, and is good for the team. No, he has. Think on the ball, he can play short, he can play long. His understanding of the game, I would say, even without the ball, when to press, when to drop a little bit, and also he's for our team quite experienced player. He has played in other leagues, has played in Europe, and I think are qualities that for this team I think are very important.
Well, no doubt Mason Mount has had his challenges at United, but his impact on the team is pretty clear to see when you look at these numbers, right? So look at the difference when he starts compared to when he doesn't. The win rate with him in the starting 11 is 71% compared to 25% without him. Key metrics on goals per game and shots per game also up when he is part of the team from kickoff. I mean, some pretty good numbers there. Yeah. I mean, what do you think? Do you reckon United are better with Mason?
Yeah, I like Mason Mount. The thing is, he's had a lot of injuries. That's what's probably killed Mason Mount at Man United. But he's got a manager there, Ruben Amorim, that trust him. I think Mason Mount, the way they play, he wants to play in the number 10 positions, but he's got Mbeumo and Cunha. But Cunha can play through the middle. I think Man United are a better team when Mason Mount's in the team. He just needs a run of games. I think he's an outstanding young talent. Someone beside me will know him better than what I know him. But when I've seen him and the impact he has on Man United when he comes off the bench or even starts, yeah, he should definitely be a starter for me.
Absolutely. Well, Jody, you know him from your time working with him, of course. Tell us about him and tell us about how do you get the best out of Mason?
I think he's a manager's dream as far as he comes in every day, enthusiastic, technically gifted, takes on board information amazingly well, distributes that information throughout the team as well. So not only can he take it on board, but he then helps the rest of the team. But a fit Mason Mount is a top player, and I'm just pleased that he's getting a run of games at the moment because what he's had to deal with from an injury perspective, he was one of the ones that even when he was a young kid coming through it in the academy, he was never injured, always fit, always available to train, never tried to sort of like protect himself. And then he's just one of these players that has hit a stage in his career where he's had a bad run of luck for 2.5 years or so, but now that he's fit and he's not getting these little niggly injuries, because that was the problem, he was getting fit and then he'd come back and then he'd break down with something else. But a fit Mason Mount is an asset to any football club in the Premier League, an asset for sure. But like, not just a great player on the pitch, but great to have around the squad as well.
I like to say a great asset to any Premier League team. What about to England?
Well, listen, I think it's too early to be talking like that, and I think Mace played it down when he was asked a question the other week, and rightly so. He just said he wants to focus on trying to play for Man United. But like I said, Mason's that good that if he's fit and he's playing week in, week out, and he's producing like he's capable of producing, then who knows what can happen. And the England manager has relied on Mason Mount before winning Champions Leagues when he was getting. He got Chelsea's Player of the Year the year they won the Champions League with Thomas Tuchel, playing in a similar fashion. But listen, it's a bit early to talk like that because I think, and Mace, who's rightly said, just wants to focus on his fitness at the moment. And as long as that continues, then he's got a chance of doing anything. Yeah,
it's funny that you say, you know, straight away you were saying, oh, he's a manager's dream. He takes on board information. Thomas Tuchel loved him at Chelsea. I think that's fair to say. He definitely has him. A lot of Man United fans that I speak to, Clinton, they seem to think that, you know, Amorim actually that's who he wants up top. I know obviously they got Šeško.
Yeah.
But when they look at that lineup, the person that Amorim wants in there is Mason Mount. Would you agree?
Yeah, I think Mount and Buemo and Cunha that could be a good front three. Listen, the jury's still out on Šeško. You can't judge him straight away. He's just come to the Premier League. He's not started a lot of games. He's now got an injury, but they paid a lot of money for him. So Ruben Amorim, when you pay a lot of money for a centre forward like that, you're going to have to give him time. But you have to find a way to get Mason Mount into that team. Mason Mount is a better player starting than just coming off the bench and making an impact. He don't want that tag. He didn't go to Man United to get that tag. I think he's an outstanding player. Jody's right. There's a lot of players at the moment that are probably ahead of Mason Mount in that England squad. But if he can get back to the levels he can, he's got a great chance. But that's consistently playing week in, week out at Man United. But I do think he can make one of those number 10 his own and push Cunha further up for sure.
Yeah. It's interesting talking about Man United and attacking midfielders, and weirdly we're not talking about Bruno Fernandes. Yeah. Obviously he's come into that deeper role this season, but Bruno's got the most assists and most chances created in the Premier League still. I mean, do you think, listening to that, are they right to play him deeper? Because a lot of fans are a bit still on the fence on it.
Yeah. Listen, I think when you're a player of that quality, I think however the team plays, that you can get regularly on the ball, whatever position it is, when you're that good, I think. And obviously dropping deeper is where Amorim's playing him. Do I think it's his best position? No. But when you're that good, I think he can play anywhere. And you're always going to get those sort of numbers when you're Bruno.
This was goal of the season, wasn't it?
I mean, it was an awful goal, wasn't it? I mean, but that's one of the things that I like about Bruno as well. We're talking about a technically gifted player here, but he never shirks working hard, puts his foot in. Even though that's not his best quality, but he's always finding passes, always looking forward. And if you do look at the other side of the data and the stats, you'll go, gives the ball away a lot because he tries for those passes a lot. He's always going to get a lot more than maybe people that try and protect the ball. But when you're a Bruno Fernandes, I mean, he's a fabulous player and been one of the best number 10s in the world since he's arrived at Man United, I think.
Yeah. Clinton, what about yourself on playing Bruno a little bit deeper? Do you think he...
No, his best position is a 10. I agree. Yeah. He has to suit that because they've got no other midfielder that can play his role from the deeper positions.
Kobbie Mainoo, no?
Yeah, he can. Yeah, obviously Kobbie Mainoo, but I think Kobbie Mainoo could play beside Bruno Fernandes. For the life of me, I know that's a different story. How Kobbie Mainoo don't get in that Man United team, I can't believe it. Homegrown talent who's itching to play at the moment, but Bruno's an outstanding player. A lot of people criticise Bruno because he throws his arms out in the air, but that's just how he is. He expects better from himself and his teammates. I think he's outstanding. He's a top player.
Yeah, absolutely. And on Amorim's side, you know, a lot has been made on how much he's maybe tinkering with that back line. It's those late substitutions that he's making that maybe are pushing the team.
That kills me, Roman. Jody can answer that as a coach.
I don't get it.
I don't get it.
No, I don't
Why
get
would
it.
You do that?
I said it.
The late substitutions.
I said this about a year ago. I really don't see it when he keeps making these changes, like defender for defender, and
when you're winning as well. It's from winning positions. That's what when I don't quite understand it. Well, even losing positions, you're like, surely you want to.
Yeah, I mean, as I said, I've questioned it myself. I'm trying to get why he's doing it, trying to put myself in his shoes. But I'm still baffled by it to this day. And I mean, he sticks to his guns, doesn't he? And one of his guns is changing a defender for a defender at some point in the game.
Yeah. Do you think that's why we're not really seeing that consistency from Man United yet?
I'm not sure. I think, in fairness to Ruben Amorim, I think the players have not been good enough for him. But at the same time, sometimes I do say that he maybe doesn't give the players big enough opportunity to produce as well when you're continuously changing players and you only want to stick to playing this rigid. It's not a rigid system. It's 3-2, but you know when other teams just know that's how you're going to play, know that that's how you're setting up, and then they don't really have to adjust during the game because, again, he makes loads of changes but just doesn't change anything.
Yeah. Very quickly, Clinton, how much of a miss is Brian Mbeumo going to be when he heads off?
Massively so. He's been outstanding since they signed him. We knew what he was going to do. The goals he scored at Brentford, and we knew he'd do that at Man United. They will miss him. Top player. And Ahmad as well. Both of those players have been really good for Man United so far.
Fantastic.
That's a profit for the first quarter of the new financial year, but for supporters hoping to see more new faces in January, that might not be the case. Let's bring you the key headlines then. Commercial broadcasting, match day and overall total revenues are actually down, but only by small percentages and none too significant for a business the size of United. They're also expected, given the lack of European football this season. Crucially, their operating profit went from a loss of 7 million last year to a profit of 13 million. Now our football correspondent Rob Dorset explained what this could mean for the upcoming window.
I think the message to the Manchester United fans from these figures is not much changes. There isn't going to be suddenly a huge pot of money for them to spend in January, and there's no going to be reduction in their long-term plans to spend on the squad over the next 12 months or so. Omar Barada called the figures robust. He pointed out in this financial statement, United are committed to and complying with the Premier League's PSR rules. Manchester United aren't at risk, because they're being so frugal right now, of breaching the PSR rules. But the truth is, United don't have a huge amount of money to spend right now, and I think it's much more likely that they'll save any of their big ticket, big name transfers for the summer rather than for January. We know that a central defensive midfield player is absolutely top of their priority list. We know they're interested in Elliot Anderson, Adam Wharton and Carlos Baleba as well, but they're big money and they're likely to be higher priced in January than they are in the summer. Any club trying to buy that calibre of player who has competition for his signature in January can expect to pay a premium. Manchester United, I don't think, will do that. It's not in their financial plan. They don't really have the cash to do it unless they move one or two players on. And at the moment, it seems they don't have a desire to move any of those players on. We heard yesterday that Joshua Zirkzee wants to stay at Manchester United despite an interest from Roma in taking him on loan. We know that Kobbie Mainoo is a little bit unsettled and not playing as much football as he would like. But it makes no sense for Manchester United to sell him or send him out on loan because they'd have to replace him and they'd probably be worse off in terms of the calibre of player and in terms of the financial situation as well. So I think unless there's some major injury problems or a big sale or a big offer comes in for one of their players, I think it's going to be a pretty quiet transfer window in January for Manchester United, and these latest financial accounts don't change that picture at all.
I was going to say we're not going to get into the financial nuts and bolts, but apparently you've been at the stock exchange today, so maybe we could just leaf through the spreadsheets with you. You could give us some insights.
Yeah, you can do.
Flip a few quid today?
Yeah, quite a few, yeah.
Good.
Millions.
Oh, good man. Omar Barada, who Rob was referencing there, who's the CEO, says that Manchester United have made strong progress in their transformation of the club. Does that extend to on the pitch?
Yeah, I would say so. They're higher up in the league than what they were last season. I still think there's still that inconsistency about them. You know, I watched them in the second half against Wolves. Even though Wolves are not very good, they play some good football. They've got some good players. I thought they've bought well up front. Mason Mount's coming back. I thought Mason Mount looked back to when he was at the best when he was at Chelsea. Yeah, just got to get that consistency. But and then it comes and bites them, the Everton game and the West Ham game, you know. But yeah, I think they're getting there slowly. Slowly. They've got to learn how to walk again before they.
Well, that was going to be my point about the results. And they've only lost one of the last 9 games, which was Everton, and it was poor because they were playing against 10 men. But I think we're accepting that they're not a title challenger, so there are going to be those little hiccups whilst they learn to walk again.
Yeah, 100%. And they've got to get used to the way they play, and they should be getting used to that now. You know, the way Amorim plays. He's played it since the day he walked in there, so that's a lot of training sessions and a lot of games. Yeah, if they can get in the top 4, they've pulled up trees. And what a job that is for a Man United manager. To come in and you've just got to get in the top 4. not like win the league, just get in the top 4.
We talked there, or there was a bit of reference from Rob about everything that's going on behind the scenes. There's been big cost cutting. But again, when you funnel it down to what's happening on the pitch, as you said, recruitment has been a big improvement in that the signings they've made have been good, but they've also managed to get rid, some have only on loan, but get rid of the players that the manager clearly doesn't want.
Yeah, and I think that's been the big thing with Man United over the last how many years. Their recruitment's been shocking. Yeah, I don't want to go back to Anthony, but I will.
Poor old Anthony.
I mean, £80 million. Do you know what I mean? You know, it's just wrong. It was just wrong. They bought, you know, and I always go back to him because it was £80 million and he didn't produce anything. So that was a hard one. I think they've done well this season. They bought well. They've got to keep certain players fit. You know, I think Fernandes is a footballer. He's a good footballer. You know, Mason Mount, good footballer. And then they got good players up front in Mbeumo and Cunha. You know, you get them 4 going, they will cause, you know, manic for a lot of teams, a lot of panic. So for me, keep it tight at the back, and they'll be all right.
This is one of the great goals, by the way, isn't it? Great, as in terrible.
Yeah, just terrible. That is it. But it's just that's what they've got to do. I don't think they've had a lot of luck, Man United, over the last few years. I think they get punished every time they get punished. See, that was a good goal. You know, a real good football goal, and they've got good. As I say, there's a difference between players and footballers, and they've got some good footballers at the club now. And I think, look at that. I mean, Mason Mount. When he was at Chelsea, I was a massive fan of his. You know, disappointed when he left, but he's just finding himself again. And as I say, I like this lad. He gets a lot of stick off people, but yeah, he's a player. Always turns up, never injured. You know, even when they're 10 games without a win, Fernandes plays.
Just on Mason Mount, you said you're a big fan of his when he was at Chelsea. So too was Thomas Tuchel. Is there a place on the plane for him?
If he played like he did against Wolves, if he played like that to the end of the season, he's got every chance. And I know he hasn't played for England, but he's played under Thomas Tuchel, and Thomas Tuchel will know what he does. So it's not like he's got to come and he's got to play in loads of more friendlies. He's worked with him. He knows what he's like. He knows the player he is. But he's got to play like that every week, not just against Wolves. Do you know what I mean? I'd expect to play like that against Wolves at the moment.
Still now?
I expect to at the moment. I mean, Wolves at the moment are struggling, but it's confidence, and that's what it is with Mason Mount. I think when you sign for Man United, if you fall behind the 8 ball, you're struggling. He didn't start well, and he's finding it hard. But I hope that'll be the one that kick-starts him into it, because that lad, he's one of my favourite players.
Well, we talked about trying to get some consistency going. If you look at the next 6 or 7 fixtures, Bournemouth at home, Villa away, which looks tough, but they've got an incredible record there. Newcastle at home, Wolves at home, Leeds away, Burnley away, and Brighton at home. By mid-January, they should be in a really good position, Man United, with that set of fixtures, shouldn't they?
They should be, Rob, but we'll go back a couple of weeks ago. Everton lad gets sent off after about 20 minutes. It's 0-0 and they lose the game. It's not like Everton were 1-0 up already and they could just sit back, play 10 behind the ball. They went on and won the game. Played a struggling West Ham team who deserved to get a draw that day. So I still don't know what Man United... They've got better players, but they're still a bag of revels.
Well, the next game...
Casi a producto nuevo por semana, producto bonito que, por supuesto, pues siempre invitamos a la gente a que consuma. Si queréis encontrarlo en kingsleague.pro, pues ahí tenéis las nuevas chaquetas training y también esas camisetas especiales con detalles dorados que llevan todos los equipos.
Oye, ustedes tendrán más memoria que yo, pero ¿cuánto quedaron la última vez que se enfrentaron ellos?
3-4 ganó 1K.
3-4.
En el histórico de estos dos equipos, el que gane desempata, porque han ganado 2. El X-Buyer Team ha ganado 2. 1.
Becker se lleva el rebote. Becker para marcar. Becker. El rechazo de Arnaldo. ¡Gol!
¡Vamos! ¡Vamos!
¡Gol!
¡Vamos, Pablo! ¡Qué suerte!
Mascarra en el Cooper Arena. ¡Gol de Pablo Becker!
No será capaz, ¿no? ¡No será capaz! ¡Qué cabrón! ¡Qué cabrón!
A ver
Si sacan más de 3, se quedan sin trabajo. Mira, muy bien. ¿Cómo valoran el trabajo? Bien.
Ahí está ese ataque por parte del X Buyer Team. El toque dentro de Beguer. Puede marcar Carbó. ¡Gol! Pablo Beguer. Beguer que quiere poner el centro por delante. Finalmente lo pone por detrás del defensor. Carbó la pista. Carbó.
No jodas.
¡Competición! ¡Por algo es el Corona de Oro! China la juega atrás, no se decidió a tirar. Granero busca su perfil, Granero.
Golazo.
¡Gol! De 1K. Marca Granero. Y sí, otra vez lo ha vuelto a hacer. Buller, mira. No,
gol doble. Gol doble, claro, porque tiene sanción. Ah, claro, vale.
Sanción, efectivamente. Grande. Claro que sí. Bueno, sinceridad ante todo. Ahí está. Juanma el toque. ¡Gol!
Vale.
¡Velillas! ¡Gol! Balón que lleva ahí Pluvins el disparo. ¡Gol!
Vale.
¡Gol!
Me gusta.
Está haciendo un buen trabajo defensivo, ojo.
¡Granero!
¡Qué golazo!
¡Chicharro de Mar Granero! ¡Qué barbaridad! El recorte de zurda y el disparo con la derecha. Que la metió en la escuadra. Ojo ahora que ataca el X Buyer Team. ¡Gol!
¡Al Carrazzo!
¡Del X Buyer Team! Va a pegar Fuad en la falta.
¡Santa madre de Dios!
Vamos a ver ahí esa pelota dentro del área para Juanma, que lo puede matar. ¡Gol!
Dos de Juanma.
Sí, no podía ser otro que Roger Carbó. No sé si te imaginabas que tu vuelta iba a ser de esta manera.
Pues la verdad que no, o sea, ha sido la vuelta ideal. Hat-trick, partido de octavos y mañana jugamos cuartos, o sea, ha sido ideal. Aunque el trabajo no, o sea, me lo llevo yo, pero el trabajo es de todos. Hemos trabajado mucho y al final los resultados se han visto reflejados en el campo, así que muy contento.
Parecía o puede parecer que sois el rival más débil por todas las bajas, pero en los pasillos se comenta que nadie quiere enfrentarse a vosotros.
Bueno, a ver, yo escuché una persona que dijo de Gigantes que quería enfrentarse a nosotros, así que mañana a las 9 no te preocupes, que estaremos aquí con muchas ganas, y más después de esas declaraciones. ¿Sabes por quién voy?
Yo no lo sé quién es.
No lo voy a decir, esta persona lo sabe.
Bueno, pues enhorabuena.
Muchas gracias.